As I said in the previous piece, you don't want to coach or practice what you do instinctively or naturally in the first place. If there's an instinctive movement, leave it alone. It's very reliable. Now, this piece is called From the Ground Up, and there are some pros that you'd think that's all there was, that you're coiling against the ground and creating resistance. But to me, there's the rest of the body to be taken into account. So we've looked at the feet, the knees, and now we're going to look at the hips and the torso rotation. Now, I don't know about you, but I find my leg action is pretty reliable. If you said to me, pass the coffee, my leg would move like that, quite calmly, without any thought. If you said, catch that falling vase, my hand and my leg would be equally quick. But there's another level of activity, and I call it reflex anticipation. In tennis, as the ball comes in, the racket's going back. When a kid spins a pebble across the pond, his left hip and his left leg leads. Do you honestly think the kid is thinking about that? I don't think so. I think the faster he moves his hand and the quicker he spins the pebble, the more athletic and dynamic the hip action become. Now, golf may not seem to be as athletic as that, but it really is. You think of someone like Henrik Stenson hitting the ball 340 through the air from a standing start and fairly static, centralized golf swing. It's quite a remarkable activity. It's a discus thrower's coil with a snooker player's balance. So the way that the torso and the hips work are key to generating power and accuracy. Now I've got this strip of paper here. I know you may have seen this before. In the old days I'd do this with a comb. I don't possess a comb anymore, and this doesn't work with a sponge. So this folded piece of paper represents your body. The top is my shoulders, the middle is my hips, and the bottom is my feet. So I'm just going to incline that as though I were a golfer. I'm going to twist the top of the piece of paper through 90 degrees. Now can you see how beautifully the strain is put upon the paper? It's radial right down the entire length. So I twist the shoulders through 90, the hips go through 45, and the feet stay still. So it's that rotational element that I'm trying to get you to understand when it comes to the way the hips and the torso work. If the shoulder coils properly, the torso and therefore the hips are pulled into action. Now you only need a slightly soft posture where the spine is not in line, twist and nothing happens. Can you see that? So we need good posture, we need the spine to be in line for this to work. If the posture's poor, obviously it doesn't, and you're going to hurt your lower back quite probably. All right, so let's look at that in the golf swing. I'm going to hit a 6-iron for you. I'm in the middle of the fairway here. You might recognize the backdrop. So in I go, I take my grip, and I take my posture, and I'm now going to turn my shoulder in isolation. So my shoulder's going to go to my throat, and as my shoulder goes to my throat, just like the piece of paper, the twisting of the shoulder pulls my hips through 45 degrees. You can see that my right knee is staying flexed. I'll hit a shot for you. So here we go, load the shoulder to the throat. Fairly pleased with the shot. So let's look again from face on how the hips work. As I turn the shoulder, the torso coils and the hips move through 45 degrees. You can see that my right knee is flexed. Now one of the things that confuses people is if I stuck an umbrella in the ground here or a sort of stake, as I coil, my right hip is moving away. And people think that that's a lateral movement or a straightening of the right leg, and it really isn't. When you see my hip move away from here, that is just the result of a good coil. As the shoulders coil, my torso drags my hips into rotation. So what you're seeing here is rotation. You're not seeing anything that's lateral or anything that's tilted. It's purely the fruit of good rotation. Now we'll see the same on the follow through. When you come to the follow through, if you're going down the line, your hips will clear, but the nature of the downswing is so athletic, it sort of drags your weight across onto the edge of your left shoe. So you wouldn't have the sense of the hips spinning out of the way. You're seeing a movement towards the target, the weight shift is linear, and later the hip clears. So there is hip clearance going back because of shoulder and torso coil, and as you swing through, the shoulders and torso get out the way and the weight works thus. I would expect the left knee to retain its flexed and most of my weight to be on the edge of the left shoe. So here's a simple drill to make sure that your torso and hips are coiling properly within your swing. We rest the club across my shoulders. I'm standing vertical or perpendicular, and hopefully the club is dead horizontal. Now, if I keep looking at you, looking to the camera, if I turn my left shoulder through 90 degrees, I'll look at me twisting the paper, you can see the behavior of my torso and my hips. You can see that my right knee has moved this way a little bit. My right hip seems to have gone this way, but it hasn't. It's purely rotation. So I coil, and although the right knee straightens, it still retains its flex. When I come through, you can see I'm clearing, and I'm getting onto the edge of my left shoe. If I hit draw, I might stay that way a little bit longer. If I hit fade, I might come out a little bit earlier. But in neutral swing, this is what torso and hip action looks like. Turn the left shoulder under the throat, I'm coiling the shoulders, the torso is pulling the hips into action, right knee flexed. Now I drive towards the target. All right. Now, let's do that with a golf shot. Simple thing, I'm going to place this smash bag, I'm going to place it on my ball target line. So, you can see the flag here in front of the clubhouse. I'm putting the smash bag right in the way. Now, I'm going to aim at the flag. In other words, I'm going to aim through the smash bag. If I can get the ball to start at 1 o'clock from a parallel stance, then my leg action should retain knee flex. So here we go. I'm going to send the ball at 1 o'clock and bring it back. As you can see, the ball has started to the right and is coming down the flag. Now have a look at my hip action. My hips have cleared fully. I couldn't get my hips more out of the way. The weight's on the edge of my left shoe and the knee flex is retained. So that was a draw spin movement. I can't reiterate how valuable hitting around intermediate target is. There's an old phrase that says necessity is the mother of invention. So if the necessity is to hit the ball to the left of the smash bag this time, I'll invent the leg action to suit the hand action. All right, so here we go. Parallel stance. I'm going to start the ball left of the smash bag and cut it back. So here we go. So the ball starts at 11 o'clock, working nicely back in towards the flag. But look at what's happened to my weight. My weight's gone back onto my left heel, my left leg has straightened. So, if we're talking Tom Watson would have constant knee flex through the swing. Lee Trevino with his fade, he would work that way as the ball cut. So, don't teach leg action too rigidly. Remember that leg action must suit the hand action, and the hand action is caused by the shot you're trying to hit.